This is our new Ethernopian, Starvin' Marvin.
No, Starvin' Marvin, that's Kenny's cream cone. No, Starvin' Marvin is a bear, Starvin' Marvin.
Sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud in sight. It stopped raining. Everybody's in the play. And don't you know, it's a beautiful new day. Hey, Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
Hey everybody, and welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them? Jack Attacks the Cast. That's right, Jack Nicholson this season. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is a man who got a raw deal, Joe Vekeman.
Always with the raw deal. Never... what's the opposite of raw?
Cooked.
I'm cooked! When will I be cooked? That's how my grandpa used to say he lost his solitaire games.
Yeah. And on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is Henderson's Life Insurance. That's gotta be a typo. Is it just life insurance? No, it is life insurance. All right, there's more copy here, Lev says. Love the board game Life, but want to be protected from floods, fires, famines, etc.? With Henderson's Life Insurance, you can rest assured that your board game will be, well, it just sort of goes on and on. But I guess it's insurance for your board. If something happens to your $10 board game Life, you can get them to pay you for a new one, right? As long as you can prove that it is not an act of God, I guess. I don't know. No force majeure on the life insurance.
Oh yeah, remember when they remade that movie? Right before the pandemic?
They made it?
Yeah. With Will Ferrell and your girl, Julie Louis-Dreyfus? Yeah.
Man, you said Will Ferrell and I go, that sounds awful. Then you said Julie Louis-Dreyfus and I went, oh, it still sounds awful, but I'll probably watch it now.
I think they changed the title. I'll look it up for you though.
I think they would. I don't know if American audiences would know what to do with that. All right, well, while Joe's doing that, we also need to know what movie we're doing this week.
We watched About Schmidt. About Schmidt.
That's right. It's been a couple weeks, but we're back with Jack for White People Problems, the movie.
Yeah, speaking of which, it's called Downhill, and it was written and directed, I believe, by Nat Fax and Jim Rash of Descendants.
The way back fame.
Yeah, they wrote The Descendants, and they got their Oscars for that. Less successful, I believe, but...
Less successful than The Descendants?
That movie was successful.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Academy Award-winning The Descendants versus movie nobody's heard of, Downhill.
Well, it came out, like, literally 2 weeks before the pandemic started.
That's the perfect time to come out. Everybody's bored.
Sure.
All right. Yeah, what happens in The Secret Life of Walter Schmidt? Speaking of Ben Stiller.
Damn. How long you been holding on that one? That's good.
I just watched the movie last night, so it's not been very long.
Oh, wait, The Secret Life?
Of Walter Schmidt.
Oh.
Because we're called About Schmidt.
Yeah, I like it. I'm on board. A recently retired man embarks on a journey to his estranged daughter's wedding, only to discover more about himself in life than he ever expected.
That is what we got.
Can I read you something else? So according to Alexander Payne, his script was about an old guy who retires and realizes how much he's wasted his life and wants to start something anew. The Graduate at age 65. And if anyone knows a Mike Nichols movie, it's Jack Nicholson.
Kind of would have liked that version of the movie more, I think. Right? He doesn't really try to start something new, right? He just sort of goes along for the ride.
Well, I mean, he tries to, like, disrupt a marriage.
Yeah, that's not the same.
It's not, and it's, like, the most awkward part of the movie.
They did this thing where they were echoing the young guy with the old guy and kind of giving us a portrait of how Jack's place in the world is based on how Jack's viewing the boyfriend character, by the way, very well written.
Who? Are you talking about Dermot Mulroney?
Yeah, was he in...
Yes, he is the romantic lead in My Best Friend's Wedding, and he looks like this, and I love it.
I know that. But wasn't he like the also sleazy boyfriend guy in August Osage County?
Definitely was, wasn't he? Oh my god, he's so good.
Playing type.
Oh, they're divorced. I had no idea. He was married for 17 years to Catherine Keener.
Couldn't make it work, though. 17 years, I feel like at a certain point you've made it, you know?
County. When was that movie? Oh, he was. He is in that. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, right. He's the guy dating, what's her name? And then he hits on the little girl and then they leave.
Jesus, you remember so much about that movie. That movie went right out of my head.
All right. Yeah, I thought that character was well written, but they wanted to because Jack's like, oh, big important, whatever, insurance guy or something boring like that, and so he's like, he thinks he's got his life together, but the wife, June Squibb,
we love her. A crossover again.
Both of Adam Sandler's mamas have made it over here.
Oh, we need to talk. Not only is both his mamas in it, but she kept her name from the water boy, her first name, Roberta. My mama, Roberta.
Yeah. And then Alexander Payne's, or Jack's like, hey, you should team her up with Bruce Dern in a movie coming out in 12 years.
I mean, June Squibb is so good in this movie for the little time that she has. She's also older than Jack. I love that. 7 years older than him.
Well, what I also liked is Jack kisses a younger woman in this movie, and she's like, what the fuck, you creepy old man? And I was like, finally!
Like, he's just like, huh? And you're like, he does a real Tim Allen. I gotta just get this out of the way. This movie premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in May of 2002. Didn't come out in the States until December 13th.
Oscar play.
Yes, of course. On a budget of $30 million, it grossed $105.
That's actually crazy, because I just would think this... Not to question whether the movie's good or bad, it just seems like this would be a hard movie to market and sell and get people to enjoy watching. Because it's kind of a bummer.
It really is a bummer. It's
not even like
bummer.
A feel-good bummer. It just is a bummer with a very tiny victory at the end.
So he's coming off... Alexander Payne is coming off the movie Election from 1999, which was a big hit. Kind of. The budget says $8.5 to $25 million, which is wild.
Who knows what it could be? They didn't have Excel back then.
Yeah, it only made $17 million, but that movie was... critically loved.
I just remember it being a big pop culture thing, so maybe it didn't do well at the box office, but had a what's that movie of the Irish, Boondock Saints kind of.
It just gave him a bunch of cred.
Life.
He's like, oh yeah, people know who you are now. And then he made about Schmidt.
Well, it's good that this was a giant hit for him.
Yeah.
$30 million, but I bet $20 million went to Jack.
That's absurd. $20 million? He didn't even get that much for his... Oh my gosh, no. I hope not. No, it seems like Jack, when he's working on these smaller movies, he's pretty...
Smaller movie? The budget was $30 million.
That's a mid-budget movie.
All right, $15 million budget for him. I don't know.
You really think he got that much money for making it?
What's your budget on? He had to pay Kathy Bates a little extra to show us her breast.
I mean, I have a quote for that, and that is, it's a little troubling. Before agreeing to the scene, Kathy Bates said she had hashed out with director Alexander Payne exactly what part of her anatomy would be shown and what wouldn't. I battled to make myself comfortable, and he battled to get what he wanted. We met in the middle. I don't like that. That's icky. We met in the middle.
I'm just not sure what he would have wanted more, and I'm not even sure what the full effect is.
The full effect is Jack's face afterwards and him just go, whoa.
Yeah, but even if we don't see it, we get the gist that she's a nude lady.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I just remember that this is what this movie was pretty much sold on when it was coming out. Do you remember?
I don't remember this movie coming out.
Oh, yeah. This is my big Oscar phase. I was watching the Oscars at this point. This is my Bible now. And I just remember all of the jokes and all the talk around this movie was that wait for that scene, and I'm like, oh, okay. But then I saw, I'm like, okay. I really need to spend at least 5 minutes talking about Dermot Mulroney in this movie. When he turns to the he's profile view now, and you see the ponytail, and I'm like, oh, there's a ponytail. excellent.
Yeah, the mullet goes into a ponytail to compensate for the balding top spot of his head.
Oh God, it's so good. And it's like there's a little gray in there too, and
Little gray,
like right by the temples. I'm like, oh.
He sells water beds which were dated
Yes.
even in 2002.
Yes. And when Jack's like, I need something a little more firm, and he's like, what are you talking about? This is the most firm mattress on the market. I'm like, no. It's so good.
He doesn't talk to Jack on the phone very early on.
No.
He doesn't. When the daughter comes on the plane, he's just like too afraid to get any close to them as they embrace each other.
He refuses to hug. Jack refuses to hug this man. And this guy is like a full
hugger.
hugger.
And then when they hug in the house, he like sort of sneaks up on behind and Jack just sort of like glares at him. He comes in and he's like, hey, I know it's not a good time, but let me tell you about an investment opportunity.
Business opportunity.
Jack's like, my wife just died yesterday. Shut up. He's like, it's not a pyramid scheme, though.
And then, like, his brother's like, I told you it was a pyramid scheme. You cost me $800.
Yeah, and their house has, like, a water radiator under it and stuff. And, like, they fleshed out that family pretty well.
I love the family. Like, the husband who's clearly, like, something's up with him. Does he have, like, a mistress on the side? The Asian woman?
Because they're not married anymore, so I think that's his new lady. Like a Vietnamese immigrant or something.
Yeah.
Korean immigrant, one of those.
Just the whiplash this guy has. He can do anything. I'm so impressed by him.
Yeah, no, he sold this one really well.
Yeah, and then Kathy Bates, great as always. We love Kathy.
Kathy Bates, free spirit, hippie lady.
Yeah. I feel like she was like, I mean, maybe it's around this time. She reminded me a lot of the Patricia Clarkson character in 6 Feet Under. I know you probably don't have too much familiarity with that. That's okay. That same like hippie, like I love the like nature and that's my vibe and everything. Really dug that. Jack having so it starts when he hears I think it's Angela Lansbury comes on to with the fund a kid like in a foreign country thing, and he's like he sees the thing, he's like, share some personal information, and then he's just like, I'm gonna go hog wild on this fucking thing. I'm gonna tell this guy everything. And then at the end, you find out it's like this 6-year-old kid, and he had like an issue where he couldn't like see correctly, so he was able to have surgery now. And like Jack just like kind of falls apart at that because he's been giving this like he doesn't know it's like a kid. I think he probably feels like the kid's like 12 or 13, maybe, right? He can't think he has no idea the kid's 6 years old.
Yeah, I don't know. In my mind, I guess I thought he'd be like around 10 or so, 8 to 10, but. What was I going to say?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So the tone abruptly does change, right? We have a very particular type of movie. I'm not sure what we're getting. And then 20 minutes in, he begins writing the letter. And then the score change, his attitude changes.
And he goes off about how he hates everything in his life.
We get this very sudden tone shift. And I go, oh, this is what the movie is? Not that, I was like, okay, I think I'm getting what we're doing now.
Yeah.
But then the score starts too, and I had a hard time telling if the score was lazy or not. Couldn't figure it out. Sometimes I think it's lazy, but I also wonder if it's like, it sounded sometimes too like it was intentional. Like they wanted to go for this sort of effect. But I don't know how successful that is, or if it was intentional, and then there were some spots that were legitimately scored well.
Yeah.
So I'm all over the place on this one. I don't know.
I'm just looking at this guy's history for his work, and I mean, what you'd expect. I mean, we've covered some of them. Reign Over Me. I mean, he feels like a journeyman. Nothing too. He scored Jason Reitman's Labor Day.
Ooh, some sexy pie.
Oh yeah, but he did most of Payne's scores. That's probably why you used him for this. I mean, he did Election. He goes on to do Downsizing. I don't know. I agree with you though. The scores, it's a little lazy. But I think it's like right at the beginning of scores, kind of having that like it's a little bubbly, but with guitars, like right, little twangy guitars.
Parts of the score feel like something I would have heard in Home Sweet Home Alone. So
Jesus, that's an indictment.
But then parts of the scores I thought sounded really nicely. So then I thought like, okay, does he intentionally want to go for this lazy sounding thing, this farcical kind of score thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough to tell.
I just feel like a lot of indie movies sounded like that back then, even though this is like an indie movie.
Maybe.
New Line Cinema.
As the letters to the boy Ndugu kept Ndugu kept going.
Ndugu, yeah.
I'm just imagining the kid like being like, dude, I don't care about your problem. I can't. I have no. There's no food here today. I didn't know he couldn't see at the time, so I'm just baboons invaded my village. I don't have time to finish your letter.
Your stupid, like, little, like, retiree problems.
Yes.
It's just too much.
It sounds like you're a bad dad. Just be nice to your daughter. Maybe she'll like you again. I don't know, dude. I've got to find a way to drink water today.
I love my wife, Helen, but I hate the way she sits down. Like, what? But also, I'm like, I get it.
But now we know he can't read, so just the nun's like looking through and she goes, all right, we're going to skip all of this, Ndugu. And he just says, I hope you're well. And then she throws it away.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of was wishing that she was reading the whole letter, and then they're just like, oh, wow. That must be what's going on in America.
Yes.
Be happy you're not there.
Yeah.
I got some Roger. Do you want some Roger?
Roger, Roger, Roger. Roger, 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 Roger. R-O-G-E-R. R-O-G-E-R.
Give me the goods.
Yeah. Roger Ebert gave About Schmidt 3.5 out of 4 stars and wrote the following for the Chicago Sun-Times. About Schmidt is essentially a portrait of a man who, without qualities, baffled by the emotions and needs of others. That Jack Nicholson makes this man so watchable is a tribute not only to his craft, but to his legend. Jack is so unlike Schmidt that his performance generates a certain awe. Another actor might have made the character too tragic or passive or empty, but Nicholson somehow finds within Schmidt a slowly developing hunger, a desire to start living now that this time is almost gone. It bums me out so hard when he's just like, he's seeing these younger people, and I'm like, is it really going to be like old versus young in this? And it's kind of not. It's like half.
Well, it is, but the young people don't know they're at war with the old people.
Yeah. And
that's what it is.
He's like, I need to make sure that they know that this is the way you do things and this is how we get things done. And you guys are so lazy.
I mean, it's really about him knowing that he wants to make sure he knows he exists.
Yes.
Which is especially as he's retired and now has all this time. And seeing that the legacy he left at the thing he devoted 40 years at didn't matter, and that his marriage of 40 years has just ended.
Yeah.
He's got to know that he exists. That's a tough thing to kind of... It's easy to ignore at our age, but even now we kind of want that to be true.
Oh, no, this movie sent me down a spiral.
Yeah.
I was like, my legacy must be known.
And I get what Roger's saying about the performance, too. I think I guess I'm going to go into this further, but what did it do Oscar-wise? Because it might tee me up.
Well, it was only nominated, Best Actor, Jack Nicholson, Best Supporting Actress, Kathy Bates. A fucking bullshit that Dermot Mulroney was not nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
I know, maybe because he's just very unlikable in the film, but he's quietly stealing a lot of scenes in the movie.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to give you the Best Supporting Acting nominations for that year. Yeah. Just so we know what he was up against. He was up against Christopher Walken, Catch Me If You Can. John C. Reilly, Chicago. Paul Newman, Road to Perdition. Ed Harris, The Hours. And the winner that year was Chris Cooper for Adaptation.
Chris Cooper's the bad guy.
Yeah, I looked at this earlier. I really can't argue with most of those. The one I guess I would take away would be either... I can't take away John C. Reilly's. That's his only nomination. I can't take that away from him. This is rude.
I'd take it away from him.
That's fucking rude. That's okay. Because he should have gone in for Magnolia, but, you know...
Listen, he got caught up in the Chicago whirlwind. Just everybody loves Chicago. Everything with Chicago got nominated.
Isn't it rude that Richard Gere wasn't nominated? He's phenomenal in that movie.
It is pretty rude.
Like, John C. Reilly was nominated over Richard Gere. John C. Reilly probably has like 10 lines in that movie. And he has that one song.
Who was Jack against?
Who was Jack against? Well, let me tell you. It was Nicholson, Daniel Day-Lewis for Gangs of New York, Michael Caine, The Quiet American, Nicolas Cage as both Charlie and Donald Kaufman for Adaptation, and the winner that year... Adrian Brody for The Pianist.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wow.
So, like, if this weren't Jack Nicholson, I'd probably be more... Now, how do I want to phrase this? If I hadn't seen any other Jack Nicholson films, I wouldn't be very impressed with the acting. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's notable. But knowing who Jack Nicholson is and the roles he usually gets, I actually do find it very impressive. And I find this to be... I would have liked him to win more for this than for As Good as It Gets. Because I think he's doing a better job here.
It's a little tough for me because, it's like one of my top tier Nicholsons.
Yeah, I know. I think his acting there is fine. I think his acting here is a lot more work.
Okay.
And I think it's utilizing basically what Roger says, right? The type of guy that he usually plays is like buried deep in there. Mm-hmm. And his whole life has been about not letting that guy out. And he never fully does, but there are moments of it, like when he kisses the young lady.
Yep.
Where you're like, or when he's asking his daughter to stay longer to keep making him food. Yeah. Those are like little Jack moments.
The whole thing with like, I like the barbecue chips. You can take the plain chips. They're just going to go bad. You take those with you. I don't want them. No one's going to eat them. I'll just throw them out if you... Like, he really does not want those chips. I love that detail.
Who is his daughter? Does she do anything else?
Hope Davis? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hope Davis. She's been in tons of things. Hope Davis, right? Let me just... I'm a big fan of hers. I'm sorry. Well, you must have missed her as Tony Stark's mother in Captain America Civil War.
You bet I did.
We've actually covered one of her movies called Flatliners.
Oh, geez. Who was she in that? Like a ghost or something?
She had to be. That was her first movie. We covered her first movie.
Yeah, she's like a little girl running around in one of the dream sequences.
She had an incredible... No, she's not a little girl in 1990.
Well, she's like but it's 12 years later, right? So she could be like, I don't know, 25, 28 now. So she'd be like in her teens.
Well, I just know that she's not a little girl in Flatliners because she's the French ticket agent in Home Alone that same year.
Okay.
Yeah, but then she doesn't work for 5 more years. Let's see here. Most famous movie. Jesus Christ, this is her break. I would say this is her big break. I mean, she's in a movie called The Day Trippers, which I've heard of.
Capitalize it. Yeah.
No. She follows this up with The Secret Lives of Dentists and American Splendor.
Not The Secret Lives of Bees?
No. She's then in The Weatherman. I've seen that. I think she plays Nick Cage's divorced wife.
A bad follow-up.
Jesus Christ. She's in Synecdoche, New York.
Okay, well, that's
something.
Big movie.
She doesn't work. Does she do TV? Unsuccessfully. I don't know what her career is.
Dang. She was all right in this movie.
She was in 7 episodes of Succession.
I would expect her to keep getting work.
She's been working Succession.
Okay, well, that'll pay you bills.
Yeah,
she was kind of a cutie. She certainly is out of Dermot Mulroney's league. Good for him to snag that one.
They really had to, like, scruff and scrub him up a lot in this. He looks ridiculous. Because he's always a handsome guy. I love Dermot.
Yeah, I know. You would not guess this is the My Best Friend's Wedding guy.
Did you see Scream 6 this year? Because he's pretty insane in that movie. And I
did not see it.
You should watch that. It's on Paramount Plus.
I know where it is.
Do you not like Screams?
I've watched one Scream, and that's it. I've never just done any Screams. Yeah, I've watched, 11 Puppet Masters. Yeah. But I can't be bothered to watch 5 other Screams. I don't know why, Joe. I know that
Scream is good, and the sequels are fun.
I know.
They're like,
I don't know.
Like legitimately like fun times. And then,
I don't know why I prefer the trash to like real horror films, but that seems to be
okay.
Maybe I just don't like slashers because I never went through all the Mike Myers or the Friday the 13th.
I'm gonna say for a slasher movie, those are very tame, and there's a lot of blood, but it's tame. Yeah. So Jack's great in this. This is definitely like top 5 Jack for me. I love this.
Yeah, I'd have to look at them all, but I do think this
It's
is
probably
one of
near
his-
10.
I think this should have been maybe with as good as it gets to like. We don't know how many more he's got in him, so
Yeah.
let's just give it to him now in case he dies or whatever.
Well,
And then he's like, better performance, and they're like, dang, well, we can't do it again. We've already given you 3, Jack. You're done. Stop trying so hard.
this movie in its opening weekend grossed $8 million, and I told you it went on to gross 105. This movie
Word
had
of mouth.
fucking legs.
That's what you want.
Just some couple of facts for you. Alexander Payne said the only actor he had in mind for the role of Warren Schmidt was Jack Nicholson, and he was going to do whatever he could do to convince him to work on this movie. This is also the last Academy Award nomination for Jack Nicholson, sadly. So take that piece of information for what you will with the rest of his career. Oh yeah, the person to whom Warren listens on his car stereo is conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh.
Yes.
Shirley Jones was considered for the role of Roberta. Shirley Jones, you remember Shirley Jones?
I don't think so.
She is in a movie I'm watching right now called Elmore Gantry, starring Burt Lancaster.
You're still watching it. We were talking about that 2 weeks ago.
Let me tell you something. It's a fucking slow movie, and it's on Tubi, so I've been taking my time with it. I've got like half hour left of it, though. It's not bad. It's a little slow, and then I'm like, did I see this part? So I go back and rewind it and watch some more of it.
Listen, if you sign into Tubi, it will keep your place in the viewing.
Yeah, I know, but like I said, I split it up, so it's like, I don't really remember where I am in this, so I rewind it like 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay. I know. I signed it to Tubi. I said Shirley Jones. This woman hasn't really done
so get off my
too
back.
much of note. Yeah. I mean, she's done a lot of TV. She's done an episode of Sesame Street. She was in Grandma's Boy.
Yeah, that'll be in the Adam Sandler shop.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Motherfucker, she was in 3 episodes of The Drew Carey Show. I'm a show I know you love.
All right, what? Hold on, what's her name?
She plays Celia in...
Oh, yes! She does!
That's all it took!
That's Drew. Drew goes to night school to help try to improve his job prospects at work, and he's the only old person in the class until she shows up, but she's even older than him. She's like a senior citizen, and then he starts dating her.
She was in 96 episodes of The Partridge Family. She is Shirley Partridge. That is why she is famous.
That's why she's famous, yep.
Okay.
Was she in this movie? Oh, no, she was considered
She
for the
was
role.
considered to play the Kathy Bates role. Thank God they got Kathy Bates, though. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't see her in that role anyway.
This movie's made for a movie star, and Kathy Bates is a movie star.
Yeah, I just thought I was thinking it'd be for June Squibb, which I could see her do that.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense.
I can't see her do the Kathy Bates thing, especially if she was the Partridge Family matriarch. That is not the role at all that Kathy Bates played.
No, and also, I think Kathy Bates is way younger than Shirley Jones.
Yes.
Kathy Bates is 54 in this. Anyways, the word Ndugu means brother, literally, in Kiswahili, same as Swahili. It is also used as slang for friend in the U.S.
It is? That's not true.
I'm reading that off of IMDb trivia. Take it with a grain of salt.
All right. I mean, maybe within particular communities we don't frequent, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, Melissa Hanna, the Dairy Queen employee, is an employee of the Dairy Queen in Omaha, Nebraska, where her scene was filmed.
Is Dairy Queen still around?
Of course it's still around, just not in the West Coast.
Yeah, I just haven't seen him over. Well, let me tell you about another minor actor in this film. When he talks about the Native American cashier, that guy is played by Lester Killscrow.
Oh, shit.
What an awesome name.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Oh, I was right. It was Angela Lansbury for the Child Reach commercial.
Yeah, I couldn't. I'm like, is it her or is it Betty White? I can't.
No, that's not Betty White. That's
kind of sounds Betty White-ish.
I had one more thing I want to go tell you. Where is it?
Is it that RV people are weird? Because it's true.
RV people are a little strange. Oh, a scene that echoed Jack Nicholson's famous diner scene in Five Easy Pieces, his exchange with the waitress, was in an early cut of the movie in which Schmidt concedes in a cowardly fashion to dictate of the waitress. The preview audience went wild over it. Writer and director Alexander Payne cut it from the final movie because he felt that the scene was too much of a pointed reference to Nicholson's iconography, and that something so referential took the audience out of the movie. Good decision.
I would agree.
You don't need to do that shit. We do that shit way too much now, and it's annoying. Stop making references to other movies. Just make your own movie and let that be. Sorry, that's my opinion now.
Yeah, and you already did it very successfully elsewhere in your movie.
Yeah.
Setting up that same character note anyway, so you don't have to cheat to do it. The close-up at the end, a little off-putting, because we are directly looking at him.
Yes.
So it looks very aggressive and creepy, whereas if we'd been just a little bit to one direction, a better way to go about it. That's my note to Alexander Payne, successful Academy Award winning or nominated director, I don't remember.
I think he's just nominated. He's trying again this year, though, with Mr. Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, a movie that kind of looks like a different direction with a movie I've never seen, but, you know, it's got those vibes. The Robin Williams movie where he's teaching the kids. What's that movie called?
Dead Poets Society.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of got those vibes.
Nah.
I've never seen it. Any good? You seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. When Jack is looking up at the sky and like talking to June Squibb, he's like, I forgive you. I was hoping she would like appear in the clouds like Mufasa and be like, oh, Jack.
Or like in Happy Gilmore with like Abe Lincoln.
You have to avenge me. Yeah, exactly. June Squibb and Alligator and Abraham Lincoln all waving back to him. And he's like,
you know, I know you want that, but I just don't think that's what this movie's trying to do. Do you think so? I don't know.
No. Tongue in cheek. And then lastly for me, why don't we make movies for old people anymore, right? This movie was very successful, clearly for an older audience.
Do we? What's coming out? There's some old people fucking shit
Queen
coming
Bees
out too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen, it's always the complaint, everything's for young people, and I'm thinking, well, all your young people are going to have to start paying back their student loans soon. They don't have the money anymore. I don't know why you keep trying to tap that market. They're broke. Go after the old people.
Well, I mean, an old people movie is definitely called My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
That's not old people. Is that an old people movie, or is that a let's mine the IP well for whatever we've got left?
I think it's in the same bucket. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I don't think anyone cares about that movie unless they saw it 20 years ago.
I think the development reasons for it being made are very poor, but I think it has more to do with them not wanting to target old people and more to do with them wanting to find an IP because they're too afraid to try new movies.
I mean, my vibe is old people movies. What did I just...
You think Last Voyage of the Demeter is an old people movie? It's based off of a 80-year-old film, so maybe.
What's an old people movie that anything Clint Eastwood makes is kind of an old people movie. Those vibes. He's got that. His movie coming out this year is called Juror Number 2, and it is a straight up like is what you'd get in the 80s or 90s. And I'm like, this is now. They're like 60 and 70 now. That audience. They'll love this. They'll eat this shit up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah. I don't know.
Let's go to our last look, shall we, Joe?
Our last looks. Let's see. Jack, my guy, thank you for making this movie. Thank you for getting away from Sean Penn. He will not get you an Oscar, I promise you. Even if you come out of retirement and start to work with Sean Penn. And I will plead you to not do that. Work with a new director, you know?
Does Sean Penn even direct anymore?
He has made a movie in the last 2 years.
What's it called?
Flag Day. He made it with his daughter. I tried watching it. Really boring. I had to turn it off after 15 minutes.
Usual Sean Penn stuff. Gotcha.
Yes.
What's my last looks? Why does Jack Nicholson do this movie? Well, it's a good role, right? And it's not. It's against type for Jack for the most part.
Yeah.
But he still gets to bring some of himself to it, and I don't know. It's a kind of it's not fully feel good, so perhaps it feels like his kind of 60s, more cynical type view of things. Disquieting with middle class consumerist culture kind of brings him back to his younger days, maybe, and what his goals were as an actor then. So Makes sense to me. Makes total sense, actually. It seems like it would be right up his alley. Alexander Payne proved himself to Jack, I guess, with Election. He says, all right, here's a director who knows what he's doing. Sounds good. He appreciates those as well. Makes total sense. All right, Joe. Thanks for stopping by this week.
Thank you. I also just want to say one more thing about Jack.
Go.
His hair.
Yeah, baby, there, mama. Everywhere, daddy, daddy,
His hair, his comb over in this.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. I'm going to style my hair when it becomes like that. And we're going to have a nice time. I'm going to say I got the Jack.
I might go for the Dermot. Look, I think, as I
You
get older.
have strong roots, my friend. You are not losing any of those follicles.
One of the few nice things about my genetics. I'll take the hair. That sounds good. The hair and the height. I'm fine with that. But ironically, I could get away with having less hair if I had the height.
Yeah.
It's really an embarrassment of riches over here.
And you're a hat guy. You like wearing a hat.
I have all of my many obscure football team hats I gotta show off, you know?
Excellent.
Okay. I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for minding those audio boards and keeping us sound so slippery smooth. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Henderson's Life Insurance. They do all the stuff I said at the beginning. I'm not saying that again.
Yes.
And I am your host, Patrick Scale. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably with a similar sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
But I've got some breaking news, Joe.
Holy shit. More breaking news?
As I was waiting for you, I found this website, joeblow.com. Any relation to you?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. It's like, yes.
Godzilla official online store open. What?
Wow. I didn't know you were opening a store.
Yeah. So there's not, the article could have been like 1 sentence long. It could have said, here's the link to the store. You can buy a bunch of Godzilla official merchandise. Here's a code for your first purchase. The end. But they have to fill up some space, I guess. They have a word count. So it's like, hey, on October 3rd, the University of Minnesota will be printing Godzilla and Godzilla Raids Again as a novelization. And I go, okay. And they go, on October 17th, DC Comics and Legendary will release the first issue of Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong, to which I went,
Who asked for that? What, small niche is that for?
I know.
Not just verse Godzilla, but verse Godzilla versus Kong.
I know. Then on November 3rd, Godzilla Day, Toho releases Godzilla -1, the new Godzilla feature.
Oh, exciting. Yes.
Legendary is releasing a TV series, Monarch Legacy of them, on Apple TV. Ugh, I'm not doing that. And then, obviously, we have Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire. The movie comes out, I think, in April or whatever. And then next October, of course, we'll have 70 years of Godzilla. Godzilla will be 70 years old.
Holy shit. Yeah, 1954, right?
Yes, but anyway, here's the store. I'm looking it up right now for the first time. Ooh, little Hedora Biollante on the front. Says it's finally here. I gotta press a button to shop now. I'm on the website. I should already be shopping.
Godzilla interrupts you from shopping.
Yeah, I go Mecha Godzilla socks. Ooh, very exciting. Oh, these are some cool looking t-shirts. Godzilla store exclusives. Ooh. Ah. Good radio content. Ooh. All right. I'll look at that later.
I'm happy for you, though. This is so nice. This is like what if they opened a Billy Madison store for me. I don't know what that is.
That's too specific. What if they opened the Adam Sandler official store? Happy Madison store.
Yeah, but now I'm kind of curious to what a Billy Madison store would look like. Do you just have his friends crappy, crummy like hangout outfits. Oh, this is the shirt that says Carl on it, or Frank.
No, Happy Madison store. All kinds of Sandler paraphernalia there.
Oh,
and if you look
excellent.
over in the corner, there's the discount bin of David Spade and Rob Schneider memorabilia.
Just have a lot of Dickie Roberts
Yeah,
DVDs in there.
yeah.
Oh, full screen! Come on!
Yeah. Old sun-wearied posters of the animal. Like, there you go. Deuce Bigelow.
There's just like a dark cloud that hangs over in that section.
Yeah.
The lights don't work.
It's one weird guy in a trench coat, and he's just like, hey, you want cheap DVD? He opens up his coat. We got Here Comes the Boom. You want Here Comes the Boom? You want The Assassin? Here we go.
Are you looking for Deuce Bigelow European Gigolo?
You want Joe Dirt 2? Stream exclusive here on DVD.
We could go on forever.
I know. Did Joe Dirt 2 end up on anything after Crackle went down?
I don't think so. I think it's just like in streaming
It's
obscurity.
unwatchable now.
Yes.
I'll look that up real quick and then we'll actually record. Inquiring minds want to know. All right, Joe Dirt 2, available now, yeah, pretty much on the normal places, YouTube, Google+, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Vudu. That's it. It's the only places you can watch it. And here's what's really messed up. It's all like $13.
Wow, that's expensive. That's way too
Everywhere
expensive
you
for that.
go, it is $13. Tubi? No, it's not available. Comes to Tubi September 1st!
Hey, that's in like 24 hours. Do we have an emergency episode we need to record? A back-to-back-to-back episode?
Starring David Spade, Brittany Daniel, Christopher Walken, Patrick Warburton, Dennis Miller.
Wait, they got Christopher Walken for the Crackle original? This is the second one, right? Wow.
Joe Dirt 2.
Wow.
What an age we live in, Joe.
Yeah, is Walken slumming it, though? Like, what's going on?
Good old Tubi.
Yeah.
Saving the day. Well, we'll find out when we do the Christopher Walken season, obviously, Joe.
Wow.
Check out a little Dead Zone.
Deer Hunter? You're ready for the Deer Hunter?
Do a Click crossover episode.
Yeah. I can't wait to watch Envy with you. Do you know what Envy is?
Yeah, that was in that year that that guy had 5 movies come out.
Oh, yeah,
What's
Ben
that guy's
Stiller.
name?
Yeah, you know.
Ben Stiller, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember it.
Okay.
I don't want to, but I do.
Poo-pourri.
I didn't see it. I just...
Oh, well, I guess we will be seeing it then.
Yeah, Ben Stiller was just in movie after movie that every 3 months, it's like, a new Ben Stiller film. And I go, I don't want it.
Excuse you, every 6 weeks. I saw all of them too. From Along Came Polly to Starsky and Hutch to Envy to Dodgeball. He was an Anchorman for a minute. That's within 4 months.
Count that. Jeez. I don't know how the studios were like, this will be fine, right? There won't be a market saturation here.
I believe this is the same year as the market. Like, after Ben Stiller had his 6 months, Jude Law took over for the last 6 months of the year.
With Alfie. And,
yeah, Alfie. He had, oh my God, The Aviator he's in. Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. Can I do them all?
I did not know he was in that one.
He's the
I remember
narrator.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He's not the star of all these, though. Ben
He's
Stiller
the first thing that you hear in that movie. You turn it on, you're like, Jude Law again? I just came from a Jude Law movie.
Little did they know that once he got older, he would be a younger pope.
Yeah. And also, a Stone Cold Fox.
Oh, you're talking about him in Road to Perdition, of course.
Yeah. I mean, that's like...
Yeah.
at the same time, but I'm talking about now. Is, his hair's receded a little bit more, and he's still handsome.
Well, I was making a joke because in Road to Perdition, he played a very ugly, evil man.
Oh, yeah, he's got a scar. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean,
He's got a scar, and he's like balding, and
it's definitely been 21 years since I've seen that movie. So, yeah, I saw that in the theater. That was a fun summer movie.
yeah. Yeah, I did not.
Did you know that's a comic book movie?
I did not know that.
Yeah, they were like, Spider-Man was a giant movie. Our next comic book movie will be this Tom Hanks epic.
We're going to do Road to Perdition. We're going to do From Hell.
From
Ghost
Hell.
World.
Wow. Is Ghost World also? No, Ghost World's 2001, but From Hell, I believe, is 2002, right?
I think it is.
Still
Yeah.
2002. Okay.
And The Punisher.
2004.
X-Men.
2000.
2000, really?
Yeah. Yeah, but
No, I don't.
Blade was in 98.
Blade. Oh, even
The first Marvel movie, right? Technically.
Yeah, Blade, the first Avenger. Where's that movie coming out?
Well, I mean, it actually is coming out someday, eventually. Do you know who's casting it?
The guy.
Mahershala Ali. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Green Book guy. Can you call him the Moonlight guy? Come on. That's where he won his first award.
I will call him the, what's the HBO show?
True Detective.
True Detective Season 3 guy.
Yeah. The new one's coming out. Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster's in it.
Yeah, she's the new True Detective.
Is Pizza writing it? Nick Pizza writing it?
I believe he's not. I believe he's been kicked off that show.
I would be like, all right, Nick, here, write the first 6 episodes, and we'll find someone else to do the last 2. Because he sure can set up a series.
Oh, yeah.
God help you if you want him to end it.
God says no.
Like season 1 and 3 are actually pretty good until you get to episode 8.
Oh, have you finally come around and said 2 is a pile of dog shit?
I think 4 episodes of season 2 are okay.
Yeah. Until they're like, what do we do?
And yet, despite having 4 characters now instead of 2, they're like, well, we're out of ideas. Let's just do Chinatown again? Chinatown,
we really
everybody?
did everything in those first 4 episodes, didn't we? Everything is just jammed into these 4 crazy episodes. And is Colin Farrell, like, in a different state of being? Like, is he in the red room tonight?
Yeah. What are we gonna do with this little ginger boy, little fat ginger boy?
Oh yeah. Well, he's the son, right? They still said he was the son.
Yeah. All right. About Schmidt. He does not have a little ginger boy.
Well, I mean, if he did,
not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.